You are listening to Iron Suits, where strength wears the crown. This show isn't for the soft, it's for the forged men who command boardrooms and war rooms alike and carve out the six-pack that proves it. If that's you, welcome to the table. Guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Marwan Killu, coach to CEOs, executives at the top of their game but tired of feeling like their body isn't keeping up with their success. For those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, you can see the trays right behind me on the windowsill, there's actually a reason for these. I've got a 30 kilogram, sort of 52 pound boxer who is very, very muscular and gets very excited around people who come around the house. And so what it tends to do is sort of put not only two of his paws, but he'll jump up with all four of his paws on the window. So to save myself an expensive double glazing bill and to save myself an expensive operation to fix the dog should he go through the window, we put these trays in there. And that was at the advice of my dog trainer, because he's actually, believe it or not, he's free, but he's afraid of the noise. So all this muscle and everything, yeah, he's afraid of the noise. All right, so today's episode, we're going to talk about why your discipline is sabotaging your results. Let me ask you guys something. You build a 7-figure business, you can walk into a boardroom, read the room, and close deals that, frankly, most people would shit themselves just thinking about it. But I bet you can't walk a fucking donut without thinking, you know, having a full-blown internal sort of crisis about whether you deserve it or you don't deserve it. All right? And you're probably thinking, yeah, you're right, Marwan. Okay? And look, you've mastered systems in every area of your life except the one that's literally keeping you alive. And I know what you're thinking. I just need more discipline. Yeah, I just need more discipline. I need to get stricter with myself. But what if I told you that's the exact reason that's keeping you stuck? That's the exact reason that's keeping you stuck. And so what I'm about to tell you is something that might piss you off at first, you know, and that is that your approach to fitness is failing, not because you're weak, it's because it's failing because you're applying the wrong business systems, wrong business model to your body. And I get it, this might sound like some new age bullshit, right? But if you stick with me for the next 20-25 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix this. So let me guys give you a personal story where I'm at right now. I can walk past a restaurant, I can walk into a restaurant, I can walk past a takeaway store, you know, whether it's Domino's, Dunkin' Donuts, Mackie D's, anything, all right? And order whatever I want, and you know, no mental gymnastics, no guilt, no sneaking in the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning like some kind of cult burglar. You know, I remember a lot of the days back in Baghdad at my grandma's house. I used to be the first one up. There used to be all the sort of grandchildren gathered together when our parents used to all go out together. And so there were about, how many of us? 3, 6, 9 of us, all in one house. And I used to be the first one up at like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'll get down on my tiptoes down the stairs from my grandma's house to the kitchen. And I still, you know, bless her heart, God bless her heart, and God rest her soul in peace. She used to like speak in Arabic, Khalek Nayim, which means your uncle is asleep. And I'm like, I swear I wasn't making any like noise that would wake anybody up. It was like, it wasn't one of those sort of wooden stairs. It was like sort of marble tiled flooring that literally a 10-year-old can't make that much noise. But anyway. So I wasn't always like this, you know. I used to walk, and I'll tell you guys this story. I wasn't always the guy who walks into a restaurant and having the freedom to order what they want. so I want you to picture this scene. I'm at church, right? And they pass around the holy bread, and I'm sitting there thinking, no, I'm on keto. You know, they come round with a basket to each of the sort of benches, or you have to go up to the altar. And this is a funny one, because when I used to go up to the altar, right, I used to go up, and when the priest would give me the bread, I used to hold my hands like that, put it in my hands, put my palms like this, put it in my hand, pretend that I've actually put it in my mouth, and then I'll walk back to my bench with my head down. And sometimes I'll just leave it in my hand, right? Sometimes I'll put it in my pocket and then dispose of it. Sometimes I'll just give it to my wife to eat. And I'll pass the bread, or I'll pass on eating the bread, and I'm sort of feeling all righteous and disciplined. And so, like a few hours later, maybe a day later, maybe a couple of days later, I would sort of binge on a Domino's, right? I'll be face deep on was it a large, a medium 11.5-inch stuffed crust meat feast, garlic pizza bread, and a Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Half a kilo of Haagen-Dazs ice cream, 500 grams. Is it 500 grams? Sorry, no, it's not what am I on about. Ignore that. 500 milliliters. Is it milliliters? I don't know. Fuck knows. I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those big Haagen-Dazs tubs. I haven't had one for a long, long time, which is why I'm confused. All right, so I didn't. I would eat all that, and that used to be gone in like 20 minutes. 20 fucking minutes. Right, and the thing is about this food, you're wondering why you can eat it so quickly, because they're chemically engineered with flavors and salts and fat and everything else, designed like to bypass the brain, to bypass your natural defense against it. Whereas like normal food is not chemically engineered. This is chemically engineered to sort of bypass your sort of defense. And so by the time that you realize, shit, I'm full, right? It's too late. They've had the whole fucking thing. It's like, I don't know how many calories that is, maybe like 5,000 calories or something in like 20 minutes. Right? There's no way you can eat that over a day with normal food. Never mind with like, never mind in like 20 minutes with 20 minutes. And so this one was gone in like 20 minutes. And you know that voice in your head, right? That goes, okay, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to get real strict. Tomorrow I'm going to crack down. You know, maybe I should cut carbs out completely. You know, maybe I need to be even stricter than I am right now. You know, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why don't I have this willpower? And I thought that voice was actually helping me. It turns out it was completely fucking me over. Right, so I'd go to like business dinners, I'd go to lunches, and like I'd white knuckle past basket bread like my life depended on it. You know, I'd turn down desserts like somebody was offering me cocaine. No, you know, I'm feeling all righteous and all this. And I wore my no like it was a badge of honor, you know. And here's the kicker. Every single time I forced a no during the day, I was basically loading the gun that was going to go off later at night. So let me say it again. Every single time I forced a no during the day, I basically loaded the gun that would go off later that night. Okay? So you probably can relate to this. If you've ever restricted yourself during the day, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Later on, you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm just like, fuck it, I just want to eat, I don't care, right? You got home from a busy day, a stressful day, you had a shit ton of meetings, and like, you just basically want to eat anything inside because you just had enough. Maybe sat in traffic, I don't know, whatever, right? And I kept thinking like I had a willpower problem, like why the fuck can you not control yourself? You know, what's wrong with you? But I was looking at it completely wrong. My willpower wasn't too weak. It was too fucking strong. So let me repeat that one more time. My willpower wasn't too weak. It was too strong. I was so committed to restriction that I was completely restricting myself into binges. And that's when it clicked. You know, the manager that we all hate, right? The micromanager who sort of hovers over every single decision and questions every move, like doesn't let you to breathe. I'm sure you guys have worked with a few of those. I've worked with quite a few of those before, and I tell you what, they're not fun to work with. And you know what happens when to that person, or if you're working in the team, what happens to that team is like you burn out, that team burns out, and you sort of rebel or you quit, right? Yeah, fuck it, I'm not going to work anymore. So if I give you another example, think about your kids. If you have kids, right? If you have little kids, when you take the toys, you've got like a bunch of toys in the room, and you take up the one toy that they don't play with. What happens? Like a crisis, right? A crisis happens. It's like they have a full-blown meltdown and they want to play with that one toy that you take away. Okay? And this is exactly what happens with our bodies. Okay? You're micromanaging every food choice. You're questioning every single craving. You're not letting your system find its rhythm. And so just like with that shitty manager, you think more control of the answer, but the more control that you have, that you put on yourself, the more that you're going to binge, the more you're going to crave. See, tight control is a problem, right? Think about it this way. You don't run your business by banning meetings. You don't build wealth by avoiding money. So, you know, why the heck are you trying to master food by treating it like it's some kind of enemy, right? And you know this stuff. Like you don't control complex systems by fighting them. You control them by understanding them. But somehow when it comes to your body, you know, if we throw away all this wisdom right out the window and go caveman, me strong, me no carbs, right? It's insane when you think about it. So here's what actually happens when you restrict. So your body is like your best employee, okay? When you're constantly telling them no, 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 no. Like a dog, even my dog, when I keep telling them no, 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 right? Eventually, like my dog has got sort of selective hearing. So he hears a no and his ears go back and then it's like, okay, I didn't hear that. He just ignores me, right? When it comes to telling them no, you don't give them what they need. When you micromanage every decision, what do? They rebel. The same thing with the animals, right? You keep telling them no, 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 no. What do? They're just like, right, I'm not listening to you anymore. That's it. Forget it. I don't care if you're my dad, if you're my master. I'm going to do what I want. And here's the kicker. The more you restrict, the more you want it. Go back to what happened with the children, okay? And it's not willpower, it's psychology. It's how we're wired. And so when you tell yourself, I could never have this pizza again, your brain hears that and imagines it as a threat and cranks up with craving to like volume 11. Speaking of pizza, I'm actually craving a pizza at the moment, but I haven't had one for a while. Not because I can't have one, but because I am so on few calories at the moment that I don't want to feel hungry when I eat this pizza. And when I eat pizza, like even a few slices, I just feel hungry. And so I'm like, probably got a couple of weeks of dieting to go. And so it's just like, it's a trade-off, right? Which one do I want more? Do I want the feeling of full and getting a good sleep and pushing harder in the gym the next day? Or do I want to like have the pizza and I wake up like, gosh, I feel so tired today. You know, my stomach is like churning and I feel hungry now because I haven't got enough calories, right? So I'm choosing the sort of to have whole foods more than anything. So your restriction is literally creating the cravings. But your body doesn't send a resignation letter when it rebels. It sends you to the kitchen at midnight or at 3 o'clock in the morning with zero willpower left, right? Or it sends you to the kitchen at 7 o'clock in the evening, or 6 o'clock, whatever time you get home, and it's just like, okay, you know what? I've got the Domino's app, I've got the whatever, McDonald's, the local Chinese, Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. I'll just go and order that, and fuck it, I can't be bothered to cook any food, right? So the binging isn't you being weak. Binging is not you being weak. It's a system failure. And you know what? System failures have system solutions. What if I told you that your solution isn't more discipline, it's better data, or data as we say in the UK. I like data. I think it's a better. I think you Americans speak a lot better than the. Your accent is a lot nicer than the Brits. I don't know. So like whenever I go to the US, I've always got, your accent is so cool. And then whenever I go to the US, I'm like, your accent is so cool. So maybe it would just like, I don't know, sort of like something that you don't have, maybe. So in your business, do you make decisions based on how you feel that day? Hell no. And you look at the numbers, you check the KPIs, you make decisions based on actual information. So data over emotions, okay? Data over drama. But with food, you're flying in completely blind. You're making emotional decisions. You're reacting to whatever craving hits you. And here's what changed everything for me. Instead of asking myself, what can't I, or saying to myself, what can't I eat? I started asking, how does this fit my macros? Instead of asking, what can't I eat? I started asking, how does this fit my macros? I started tracking, right? So that one shift from restriction language to system language changed my entire relationship with food. Instead of fighting food now, I started understanding it. Instead of avoiding my appetite, I started tracking it. Instead of white knuckling through cravings, I started making data-based decisions, just like you do in business. Right? So tracking set me free. I'll repeat it again. Tracking set me free. Instead of thinking, tracking is restrictive, it's not restrictive. It set you free. It set me free. Because when you start to track properly, something crazy happens. All those foods that you think, I couldn't control myself around, all of a sudden, right, became just data, right? So pizza is not the devil anymore. 800 calories and 30 grams of protein. Ice cream is not a moral failure. It's just a choice that either fits your target or it doesn't. And look at the difference. Listen to the difference. Right? I can't have pizza versus pizza fits perfectly if I just adjusted my other meals today. One feels like a punishment, oppressive, tyrannical, right? The other one feels like power. And again, we can go back to the metaphor with children, with the micromanager. If you are, and the animals, if you are completely sort of controlling everything, what happens is you just like, forget it, right? Forget it. So that's basically business intelligence for your body. And just like in business, information becomes your competitive advantage. My phone, I'm actually recording with my phone at the moment, so I can't show you my phone, but like a couple of apps that you can use are Fat Secret and MyFitnessPal. And now they come even easier with barcodes. You can just literally scan the barcodes and it will give you the food itself. So you don't have to go through searching this food and searching that food, okay? And no, you don't have to track every single meal. Like I've spoken before in previous podcasts about what happens when you go out with clients, when you go out for dinner with family, you go out for lunch. Right? It's not about control. It's not about perfection. It's about control. Okay, so you're basically controlling what you can. And then coping with what you can't. So let me give you a brief example. When you go out with someone, so when we were on holiday in Marbella, just sort of last month, we were going out 4 times a week to dinner. Was I tracking every single meal at dinner? Hell no. We went to a burger, we ate burgers, we ate Indian, we ate ice cream, we ate, God knows what else. And it's just a matter of like controlling your meals and manipulating your data in a way that makes it better. Okay. So for example, I'd keep my calories low during the day, so that then at night I've got the budget to spend more. So I spend less early on in the day, so then I can spend more later on at night when I want it most. So when I say information becomes your competitive advantage, it means that you stop making emotional decisions and start making strategic ones. Data over drama. See, restriction dieting is like putting your willpower in a pressure cooker. You can handle the pressure for a while, days, maybe weeks. Hell, you might even be proud of how much pressure you can take. Look at how disciplined I am. I'm like, I can handle this, and I can, no pain, no gain, and all that kind of stuff. But every pressure cooker has a breaking point, and when it blows, it doesn't just release a little steam. It fucking explodes, right? So your midnight binges are your pressure cooker blowing. The solution isn't a stronger pressure cooker. It's releasing the pressure gradually, consistently, in a controlled way. And that's what tracking does. It's your pressure release valve. And here's something that's going to mess with your head, right? The moment you stop trying to control food is the moment that you actually start to gain control over it. So real control isn't white knuckling through every single craving. Real control is when you can have carbs and no need to binge, not binge. Real control is going to a restaurant and choosing what you want to eat. So I went to a burger place. I ate the burger. I didn't eat the fries because I don't want to eat the fries. Okay? Not because I can't, because I don't want to. I'd rather have an ice cream instead. Enjoy ice cream with my boys and my wife, rather than eat the sort of the fries that are going to make me feel like shit the next day, right? Because of all this oil and all the batter and all this kind of stuff. I'd rather have an ice cream. It was a hot day, hot evening. I'd much rather have an ice cream. So that's what control is, right? You can choose what you want. Rather than saying what you can, is choosing to say no, rather than saying I cannot. One is a choice, one is a forced decision. When you have a choice, nobody's forcing you to do something, right? The brain thinks differently. It's a choice that you made. And your brain is like, okay, I made the choice. Where if somebody tells you can't have the fries, right? Or if somebody tells you can't have the chips, you can't have the burger, you can't have the pizza, you're like, no, I want it. No, I want it. Even though you don't want it, you want it, right? Okay, so as someone who's built a successful business, you already understand this. The best leaders don't control through force, they control through influence, systems, and understanding. Your body responds to the same approach. Every human responds to the same approach. Think about the difference between a drill sergeant and a championship coach. The drill sergeant screams punishes, demands compliance through fear, right? Have you ever seen those like, gosh, what is it? Like this series that come on TV. There's one like, there's a British one, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's like when you look at these guys, they're like fucking scary. I'm like, geez, man, I don't want to be like working for you or being under your mercy. These guys are like tough. So like the championship coach studies the game and develops a strategy and guides performance through understanding, okay? Which one do you think that's going to create sort of sustainable elite level results? You know, the drill sergeant, you've been the drill sergeant who screams no at every craving, and you punish yourself for every single slip up. You know, you demand compliance through willpower alone. You know, maybe you punish yourself by talking bad about yourself. Maybe you punish yourself by doing a ton of cardio that day or the next day just to punish yourself. Hands up who's done that. I've done that plenty of times, right? And it doesn't work because you keep punishing yourself so you feel worse. You feel worse so you want to go and eat something more. And this is what I mean. It's about emotions, right? Your emotions start to take over, and when you're making decisions from emotions, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. Okay, so it's time to be the championship coach. Championship coaches don't avoid the game, they master it. They don't fear the competition, they prepare for it. They don't rely on emotion, they rely on systems and strategy. And when you make that shift from drill sergeant to championship coach, everything changes. You stop seeing food as good or bad and start seeing it as fuel. You stop seeing tracking as restriction and start seeing it as optimization. You stop seeing your body as the enemy and you start seeing it as your highest performing asset. Because here's what I learned. The 1% body is not built on rules, it's built on command. Command over information, command over choices, command over split second between craving and action. So you're thinking, okay, Marwan has told me all this, so now what the fuck do I do? Here's what I want you to do. Okay? And this is going to feel a bit weird at first. And I want you to track everything for 1 week. But here's the key. Don't change anything you eat. Don't change anything. Just track it. Whatever the fuck you're eating, whether if you're eating pizza every day, you're eating, I don't care if you're eating donuts, you're eating pizza, you're eating, I don't know, anything. Hey, track it. Track it to the best of your ability. If you can track it, like if it has you can estimate, right? You can estimate. So even if you go out to a restaurant, like a burger is going to be what? Maybe 500 calories, 700 calories, something like that. The aim isn't to be perfect, right? But the aim is to have that control. And you're going to say to yourself, shouldn't I be eating better? You're going to say, well, shouldn't I be eating better? No, not yet, right? This is not about restriction. This is about intelligence gathering. This is about data gathering. You're doing a business audit on your current food systems. You're correcting data before you optimize. Right? By day 3, you're going to start to see patterns. And by day 7, you're going to have more clarity about your nutrition than you've ever had in years. And here's what happens naturally. When you've got real information, like actual information, you're going to start making better choices automatically. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Okay, so you're going to think, okay, I had that donut for lunch, but let's put it another way. Yesterday, I'll give you a personal example. Yesterday for lunch, I had venison, I had some sweet potatoes, and I had some fruit. and I was banana, kiwi, and pear, and I felt a bit like a bit sort of foggy, a bit tired. I started yawning throughout the day, and I'm like, not normally like this. Why is that? I was like, okay, it's one of two things. One, I didn't work out, and two, because I had all this food that basically spiked my blood sugar and sort of it made it come down. So that creates that fatigue. So I'm like, okay, that means that tomorrow, which is today, I'm going to not have the fruit for lunch. I'm going to have something else. I'm going to have maybe some more oatmeal, or rather have oatmeal so that I have sustained energy throughout the whole day, rather than have a spike from blood sugar and then come down and feel tired. Okay? So it's not about giving up a certain amount of food and giving up like food groups. It's about eating better. Okay? And look, like when I'm not in a diet phase, a fat loss phase, and I have a pizza, I have it later on, I have it in the evening. Why? Because I know there's only say I have it at 6 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, maybe even 9:30. Okay, and so if I want to sort of relax, then I'm going to have a pizza and I'm going to chill out, and maybe I'll go for a short walk with my dog and then come back home prepared to go to sleep. Whereas if I have it in the daytime, I'm going to feel lethargic, I'm going to feel heavy, and I'm like, I can't wait for the next meal, that kind of thing, So it's all data. You don't binge, so I want to recap. You don't binge because you're weak, you binge because you're smart. Your brain already knows the restriction is bullshit, right? Even when you're doing it to yourself. And some parts of you hate being micromanaged. In business, hate being micromanaged at dinner. You hate being micromanaged in business, and you hate being micromanaged at dinner. Your body is not broken, your system was. So here's my challenge to you. Stop trying to control food by avoiding it. Start commanding it by understanding it. You didn't build business through restriction and willpower alone. You built it through systems, strategy, and smart decisions. Your body deserves the same approach. Download the tracking app tonight. Track everything for a week. Don't change anything, just track it. And watch how information becomes your superpower. Because high performers like you don't need tighter cages. You need better systems. All right, guys, I hope this video and this episode was helpful for you. Make sure to subscribe and share this with another person, because iron sharpens iron and man sharpens man. All right, have a great day. I'll talk to you all soon.